Welcome to Football Scientific. I'm Aaron Sauter. I'm a writer for Last Word on Sports. I cover the Buffalo Bills of the NFL who are playing right now. They're tied 7-7 with Miami Dolphins early in that game. Also, I write for CFL I cover the Hamilton Tirecats who are playing on Saturday night. I'm writing a preview article tonight for them, making for a very busy night of football. I wanted to take a break, though, from watching the Buffalo Bills and from writing about the Tirecats, just to talk about some updates in the NFL world. We're going to lay out our CFL betting guide for this weekend, and then we're going to talk about some odds and ends along the way. So that is the plan right now, and I'm joined by my guest host, Corky the Crocodile. Corky the Crocodile, let's go. I'm a fill-in. Everyone's watching the game, but I'm here putting on the best show I can put on. So here we are. Let's do it. Let's break it down. Okay, good job, Corky. Let's get it. Okay, so first, Tampa Bay, over the last 2 days, they lost right guard Cody Mock. He has a season-ending knee injury. They're now trying to scramble to get some offensive linemen. They just signed Dan Feeney out the Buffalo Bills practice squad today. They moved one of their guys. They promoted Luke Hagee to from their practice squad to active role, and they signed offensive lineman Sua Opeta from the practice squad to the practice squad. So they're moving around pieces, trying to fill in for Cody Mock. Okay, Washington Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels is still on the fence. We're not sure if he's going to be able to play or not. He did not practice again today, though. LA Chargers, they signed safety Tony Jefferson to the non-active roster to fill in for Khalil Mack, who was put on IR last night. And they signed offensive linebacker Cleveland Farrell and Rashad Weaver to fill in to try and rebuild that outside linebacker position. San Francisco 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy practiced today, so he might be able to start playing. They probably will give him one more week to recover, I bet. Green Bay Packers tight end Tucker Kraft is on the injury report. He has a knee injury. It's just a precaution right now. They don't think it's a long-term injury, but he might be out for this week. Minnesota Vikings quarterback J.J. McCarthy did not practice. He's expected to be out for several weeks. Carson Wentz will start versus the Bengals. Let's go Bengals. Next, Miami Dolphins wide receiver Jalen Waddle popped up on the Miami Dolphins injured list right before the game started. He's questionable tonight. I'm sure he's playing. New York Giants, their fans are saying they want quarterback one, Russell Wilson, to be traded to the Bengals, and they want Jackson Dart to become quarterback one. So, I mean, they're not fans of Russell Wilson. 0-2 start, they want to get rid of that guy. In the UFL, Memphis Showboats edge rusher Jeff McCullough decided to retire from football. Okay, let's call it quits. Michigan Panthers re-signed several players: running back Toa Tawa, tight end Gunnar Oaks, linebacker Frank Ginda, defensive back DJ Miller Jr. St. Louis Battlehawks signed defense tackle Fedarius Pergerin. Okay, got it. Boo. Right now, Miami and Buffalo's playing. They're at 7-7. I said, a pregame article, Last Word on Sports, got released this afternoon. Buffalo's going to win this game 35-17. I figured it'd be a nip and tuck game early on, and Buffalo pull away in the second half. And that's how it's looking right now. I say it goes 35-17. DraftKings said that Buffalo's going to win by 11.5. I agree. I don't think it's going to look that way initially, okay? It's NFL, man. It's NFL. No one's losing by 70 points. I saw someone say they're going to lose by 70. No, they're not. That's not how the NFL's played, y'all. Also, right now, the Rice Owls and Charlotte 49ers are playing. Starting off week 4 college football, their only college game out tonight. Right now, that's a nip and tuck game, too, with Rice up 7-6. I said I figured that would be a nip and tuck game. Both teams are kind of not explosive on offense. Rice Owls an option team. Charlotte, I guess they're spread, but they're kind of spread option. Okay. I said Rice Owls going to win that game 24-20, total 44 points. DraftKings says they're going to win by 2. They have Rice Owls winning that game. I've been at Charlotte by 2-point underdog. 42.5 is over-under. I say it goes over, and I would put my money on the Rice Owls. Right now, I would still put my money on the Rice Owls. In that first game, the Buffalo game, I would put my money on Buffalo. They're going to win this game. It's going to go over. I think they're going to win by more than 11.5. I can't guarantee it. It's the NFL. You never know. Boom. One reason we're making the show late during the Buffalo Bills game, which is not ideal, is because the CFL had a ton of signings, and I had to go through those before I had dinner. So that got a little crazy. Saskatchewan, they signed American defensive lineman Kevin Orange Jr. Montreal Alouettes, they added from the practice roster national defensive lineman Philippe Lemieux Cardinal, who always moves back and forth for practice squad. They're just moving. I guess they just want to be in the transactions list, I guess. Boom. Montreal Alouettes added to the single-game injured list. No, from the single-game injured list, they activated American defensive line Sean Oakman. They moved to the single-game injured list American defensive back Keontae Evans. They moved to the single-game injured list American running back Travis Diaz. Boom. Montreal Alouettes added from the practice squad American defensive back Don Callis. They added to the practice squad American running back Eno Benjamin. Calgary Stampeders, they made a bunch of moves. They added from the practice squad American DB Brady Breeze. They moved to the single injury list American wide receiver Malik Henry. He's out. He's a big time player for them. They added from the practice squad National Defensive Lineman Daniel Joseph. They moved to the sixth game injury list American defensive lineman Fullerin Orendell. They added from the practice roster defensive lineman Byron Vaughns. They added from the single game injury list American defensive lineman Jalen Hutchins. They moved to the practice roster national wide receiver Bashan Genesis. They added from the single game injury list national running back William Langham. They're shuffling people trying to get the healthiest team on the field, I'm sure. Calgary Stampeders also moved to the practice roster national running back or defensive back Delani Richardson. They added from the practice roster national long snapper Jason McGugan. They moved to the sixth game injured list national long snapper Aaron Crawford. They moved to the sixth game injured list American defensive back Sheldon Armand II. They moved to the seventh injured list national offensive lineman Radeem Brown. They added from the single injury list American offensive lineman Deontay Duren. BC Lions moved to the single injury list global defensive lineman Tebow DeBilio. They added from the practice roster American running back Xander Harris. They moved to the single injury list American offensive lineman Jarrell Brixton. They moved to a single injury list national wide receiver Javon Coterie. They added from the single injury list American defensive lineman Kamoko Teray. Okay. More BC Lion moves. They added from the practice roster American offensive lineman Elam Manning. They added from the single injury list global linebacker Maxime Royer. They moved to the single injury list American defensive end Bradley Anu. And they moved to the single injury list American running back James Butler. That's huge. That's why I go through these. It seems like who cares? But then you get a James Butler and you're like, wait, that's gonna be real bad for BC. That's why I go through them all. They add from the practice roster national defensive line Anthony Bergeron. Okay. More BC Lions. They moved to the single game injured list American defensive lineman Morgan Moran Moore. Okay, so that is James Butler out for BC. That's huge. Toronto Argonauts moved to the sixth game injured list American linebacker Ryder Varga. They added from the single game injured list American running back, defensive back Derek Slikwa. They moved to the single game injured list American quarterback Nick Arbuckle. They're without Nick Arbuckle. That's huge. Once again, that's why we go through all the stupid things. It's a lot of names you wouldn't care about, but all of a sudden you get a Nick Arbuckle and you're like, well, that's going to change everything. True. Toronto Argonauts, they added from the single game injury list national offensive lineman Anthony Vandal. And they added from the practice roster American quarterback Max Duggan. So maybe Max Duggan from St. Louis Battlehawks, maybe he'll get a chance to make an impact. They're going to start Jarrett Dogie, and Max Duggan might be able to get a chance in that game. See if he's better in the CFL than he was in the UFL, because he was garbage in the UFL. Ottawa Red Blacks released American defensive back Bentley Bentley Sly. They added a same-game injury list. National defensive lineman Daniel Okpoko. They added from the same-game injury list American wide receiver Devontae Deadman. So he's back. Our Red Blacks released national linebacker Zachary Filion. They moved to the practice roster national linebacker James Peter. And they moved to the practice roster national defensive lineman Deontay Knight. Okay. So with those moves in mind, I have my CFL betting guide for week 16. First, tomorrow night, Friday, September 19th, 7 p.m. Eastern, we got the Montreal Alouettes, who are 6-7, at Toronto Argonauts, who are 5-8. Okay. If Montreal wins this, they're still in the hunt for the top in the East Division. They're putting pressure on the Hamilton Tiger-Cats. Toronto wins this, they're both putting pressure on the Hamilton Tiger. Let's be honest, the Tiger-Cats need to win some games. But mental note, if Montreal loses, Toronto loses, Ottawa loses, so they got all happen. But if two of those happen, so I think if Toronto loses and Ottawa loses, Tiger-Cats win, they are in the playoffs. They clinch their playoff spot. So they'll be the second team to do that. So, we got Montreal Alouettes, Toronto Argonauts. We got to be in a nip and tuck game. Power run. McLeod Bethel-Thompson coming back to Toronto. He's going to have a big game, I think. Toronto's going to be with a third-string quarterback, maybe with Max Duggan. I think that's not going to work out for them. I think that their defense, the special teams, are good enough to keep them in this game. But I say Montreal wins this game in Toronto 32-30. Huge win for Montreal. That will allow the Hamilton Tiger-Cats to take control of the East, to earn their playoff spot for the first time in a couple of years. Okay, so I got Montreal winning 32-30 in Toronto, total 62 points. DraftKings semi-agrees. They have Montreal as the favorite by 6.5 points. Toronto's 6.5-point underdog. They got over-under 50.5. I say it goes way over that. But both teams need to win this game. And I say Toronto's going to keep it closer than 6.5 points. So if I was betting on this, I go Toronto with the points. And I go over. Okay, Friday, September 19th, 9:30 p.m. West Coast game. BC Lions, 6-7 without James Butler at Calgary Stampeders, 8-4 with James Butler, which they had when I went through this prediction. I think BC was going to stand pretty firm with Calgary. Calgary's lost to these teams that they shouldn't lose to. So I think they're going to get challenged by BC. But without James Butler, no chance. I have Calgary winning this game 31-27. Okay, 31-27. It's going to look close, but it's not going to be close. You know what I mean? 60 total points being scored. DraftKings says Calgary, 6-point favorites. BC Lions, 6-point underdog. Over under 54.5. Okay, originally I had BC Lions with the points because I thought they'd keep it closer. I originally had 31-29. Without James Butler, I got 31-27. I'm going to go over on this, but I was going to go with BC Lions with the points, but I'm going to go Montreal with the money line. They're definitely going to win this game. It's just a matter of how much you're going to win by. Saturday, September 20th, 3 p.m. Eastern, we get the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, 6-7 at Ottawa. Red Blacks, 4-9. Red Blacks lose this game, they're done. They're out of the playoffs. They'll have 10 losses. Out. It's over, dude. Okay, Winnipeg. They come in, turning the ball over. Turning the ball over, playing ugly football. They got a good running game, but their quarterback room is a shamble. Okay, Ottawa Red Blacks, very similar. They come out and play good sometimes. They come out and play real good sometimes. But then they come out and fall flat on their face. I think they'll play good this week because, if they lose this week, it's pretty much over. They know they're not going to make the playoffs. And it's a long ways away from the end of the season. They still got 5 games left. I would hate to be an Ottawa Red Blacks and know we can't make the playoffs with 5 games left. So I think Ottawa's going to come out ready to fight in this game, and they're at home also. So I have Ottawa winning this game 28-24 on the way to not turning the ball over as much as Winnipeg. They are much more sound with the ball. I got Ottawa winning 28-24. Over-under 52. I got it going over. Let's go back. DraftKings has Montreal the 2.5-point favorite. Or Ottawa, sorry. They got Ottawa as a 2.5-point favorite. Winnipeg's 2.5-point underdog, just like I do. Over under 51.5. I say it goes slightly over. I'm not confident with that. And I say Ottawa wins with the money line. I am confident with that. I think Winnipeg will turn the ball over. Okay. Saturday, September 20th, 7 p.m. Eastern, Edmonton Elks 5-8, Hamilton Tiger Cats 8-5. This should be academic, but if you know anything about the Hamilton Tiger Cats, they're never academic. Yeah, every time you think they should win, they don't. Every time you think they should lose, they don't. Very frustrating to be a Tiger Cats fan. But here we are. If they win this game, if Hamilton can win this game at home, they're healthier than they have been. They have everything they need to win this game. Edmonton has been this hanging on and fighting teams. They're going to hang on and fight, guys. They're waiting for you to make a big mistake. They're waiting for Bo Levi Mitchell to throw an interception for a touchdown. Then they'll win this game. But I think Hamilton knows that. I think Hamilton can come out and manage this game and beat Edmonton. I got them winning the game 31-23. Ugly win. Ugly win, but not as ugly as the win against Montreal. Okay. 31-23. Total points being 54. DraftKings has Hamilton as a 6-point favorite, which I agree with. They have Edmonton as a 6-point underdog, which I agree with. They have over-under 55.5. I say it goes under that. I think just for Hamilton to win this game, they need to grind this thing out. They need to grind this thing out, grind out first downs, limit the possessions for Edmonton else. They got Cody Fajardo. He can move the ball. They need to shorten that game and pound the run, like they've been doing the last couple of weeks. It's been working out for them. Suddenly, they're back on a winning streak. When they commit to running the ball, they're on a winning streak. Okay. Okay, IFL. Bunch of moves made in IFL. If you remember, Bay Area Panthers are done, at least for 2026. But Tulsa Oilers are not, so they re-signed running back Jimmy Smith. The defensive lineman Marquez Beecham. They signed offensive lineman Vashon Bairn. They traded with Vegas Nighthawks for defensive lineman Claude Davis. And they signed defensive back Nigel Carabell. Okay. Arizona Rattlers signed defensive back Yashin McKee Sr. and running back Howard Russell V. Okay. Jacksonville Sharks re-signed defensive lineman Chris Rear. And they released defensive lineman Xavier Potter and defensive back Bruce. Fisher's Freight re-signed kicker Callum Sutherland. Okay. Vegas Nighthawks defending IFL National Championship, getting real serious to start off the offseason. They made a ton of moves. They signed linebacker Cornell Jones, defensive back Fred Flama, the wide receiver Jelani Baker, offensive lineman Hunter Pontius. They traded Claude Davis to the Tulsa Oilers for future prospects. Defensive back Anthony Sal was signed. They re-signed defensive lineman Lorenzo Hernandez, offensive lineman Kyler Edwards, and defensive lineman Adam Plant Jr. Okay, San Diego Strikeforce made a bunch of moves, especially at the Bay Area when they have the same ownership team. They're still alive. Watch out for that. Okay, they re-signed defensive end Wallace Cowens. They wide receiver Dallas Daniels. Wide receiver Shane Hooks. Wide receiver Anthony Jackson III. Kicker Ernest Lacayo. Defensive lineman Ifani Majay. Linebacker Roy C. Offensive line Jake Signs. Running back Edward Vander. It looks like, if you know that San Diego and Bay Area are owned by the same ownership, they're trying to pull all the resources into San Diego. They already got an IFL National Championship at Bay Area. They did that. So now they're trying to get one at San Diego, I think. Okay. They released offensive lineman Robert Mitchell. They released Rashad Harding. Wide receiver Elijah Harper. Defensive back Shedrick Kirk. Offensive line Clayton Bradley. They also signed defensive back Herman Smith. Linebacker Jorente Davis. And offensive lineman Jose Castro. Okay. He's currently with the CFL. He gets an exemption spot. They plan on him coming back. So, lots of moves in the NFL, lots of moves in the NFL, CFL betting guys out there. We're going to watch Buffalo beat the Dolphins. We're going to watch Rice beat Charlotte. That's the plan for tonight. Tomorrow's a football night. Should be another busy night. I'm looking to write that Hamilton Tiger Cats article tonight about the pregame. So that's coming out. Check out Last Round Sports by Buffalo Bills article. See how it matches up. It's probably an exact match of how I said it was going to be, okay? So, Last Run Sports, CFLNewsHub.com. Check them out. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Football Scientific is over for tonight.